Alright, and here we are back for our second test match. I'm going to keep... This hand's not great. It doesn't have anything going for it, but it does have four artifacts and a way to get blue. Now it has for sure a way to get blue, so I'm going to keep it. Mirror backwater. Dismal backwater, I guess, could signify... Okay, never mind. It's Tron deck. Fair enough. Tron, I would imagine, is not a great matchup because you don't have anything in the sideboard against them. And there's a reason for that, which I'll get to in a little bit. But also because they just go bigger than you do. Like, you can't stop them from going bigger than you. I have to imagine that they top-decked a Tron piece if they're going to go two of them over the course of this turn and the next one. Never mind. This is not a Tron deck. I don't know what the hell this is. It's just some kind of blue-black control deck, but... I kind of just threw away the Tron matchup because no matter what, I don't think you're beating Tron. So I kind of just left it alone and forgot about it. Is basically why. So we'll go Thoughtcast once and we'll see what we draw. We could do it again, but I don't really think there's a point in it. Now, the problem is we're up against a blue-black deck, so I don't really want to use any of my removal spells. I don't really want to discard lands either, but the fact of the matter is we have Thoughtcast in our hand, so I think I can safely discard this mountain. This deck doesn't need a ton of lands to work with, but also you don't really want... like, you want to keep on pace. It's kind of weird because you shouldn't want to discard lands in a control matchup. But at the same time, you also don't really want to pitch away spells when you don't really know what you're playing against. Augur Bolus. Okay, so it's some type of teachings deck, I guess, with an expedition package to get Bajuka Bog and stuff. I guess that's okay. Augur Bolus didn't find anything. Excellent. Alright, let's go ahead and Chainer's Edict. Let's go ahead and Swiftwater Cliffs, and we'll go ahead and Thoughtcast without having to discard. And we'll pass the turn. I would have still... It would have been... It was actually smarter to first Thoughtcast, just in case I got a Karoo, but I would have... between these two lands, I would have put the Swiftwater Cliffs into play anyway, but it was still would have been smarter to do that. So, beating this combo is going to be extremely difficult. Or, well, it's not a combo, but beating this is going to be extremely difficult. I don't know if I'll be able to actually do it in time. Terminate. Okay. I think I'd rather play the Bleak Coven Vampires for right now, rather than Moldrifter, because I'm already, so stacked on cards. You also have to be very careful because it's very easy to sometimes think you have Metalcraft when you don't. So be careful about that. We'll just go ahead and pass the turn. My opponent's on infinite mana. They have, what, 7? Yep. And Chainer's Edict? Yep. They have a land in hand. It's an island. That's about all I know. Augur Bolus. Okay. They think twice. Sure. Alright, so they have Island and Think Twice in their hand, and they don't have Counter Magic up. I think let's go ahead and Moldrifter first, just to see if I get a Karoo. They could have Exclude, but I have to walk into that. I don't... I'm not going to just sit back and wait for them to have it if they don't have it already. Don't have to discard, just going to do the usual blue thing of tap out from Moldrifter and pass the turn. Opponent's going to gain some life. Fair enough. So typically against this type of matchup, against a Teachings deck, it's really not a good matchup for you. What you want to beat is aggro decks. You are really good against aggro decks. And you're really good against mid-range decks like Holdotha Boros and stuff. You're not really good against Tron, and you really suck against blue-black control decks. You can beat them. It's not impossible, but the problem is they have more counterspells and just as much as removal as you do, and, well, this isn't going to happen often, but if they get out double Pristine Talisman, it's going to be really hard for you to win. I think maybe Curse of the Bloody Tome could go on the sideboard of this deck, just in case I face something like this archetype. Not exactly sure, but I think that's probably where I should be. We're going to go ahead and cast Moldrifter and get it countered, because that's just going to happen no matter what. And then, by Essence Scatter. Okay. That's a cool picture, actually. I never really looked at it before. We'll play this Is It Boilerworks and return, I guess, this Great Furnace. And I could Galvanic Blast this Augur, but I don't see the point when I already have a Chainer's Edict in the graveyard anyway, and I'm at so much life, it doesn't actually make a damn bit of difference. So we'll just leave that alone. Flashback, think twice on main phase. Could indicate that my opponent has a lot of lands in hand. He has at least one. So that's funny. That's good to know. Opponent's got at least one, but not sure exactly. Chip, chip, chip. Reason why Augur of Bolas isn't in this deck is because you have Thoughtcast instead. I think Thoughtcast is just better. Another island. So I could try to take this time to resolve Mnemonic Wall, but I don't think that's going to get me anywhere. I kind of want to clear the board and just go Chainer's Edict, but I guess resolving Mnemonic Wall, if I can, is probably just better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With Prophetic Prism, I can leave up as much blue and as many colors as I want, so it doesn't make a difference how I tap. And my opponent gave it to me, which is good. So I'm going to get back to Thoughtcast, because I can just flash back the Chainer's Edict. But I'm going to pass the turn, leaving up Ghostly Flicker or removal if I so need to. I see my opponent's going to gain a life. They did. Coolio. Opponent's going Chainer's Edict, so this is kind of another reason why this matchup is not great for you. You're kind of bad against Edict effects, which this deck is quite good at. So now another win condition is, if it gets down to it, is deep analysising your opponent out, because you can make them draw 4 cards. I guess I'll just terminate this now. No, I guess I can use Chainer's Edict. Doesn't really make a difference. Okay, well, I'm going to terminate anyway. That's funny. Let's go ahead and Thoughtcast. My opponent should draw some cards here at some point. So we'll go ahead and flashback this Chainer's Edict. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Leave up Galvanic Blast. Not that it really makes a damn bit of difference, but we're going to leave it up as it is anyway. And we're going to pass the turn. I think I'm just going to discard one of these Ghostly Flickers and keep the land in my hand. Probably a good idea. I think I need more lands at this point. After board, you're slightly better because you have Pyroblast, so you can actually battle. But still, you suck in this matchup pretty much. Not even gonna lie about it. Evankar's Justice with flashback. Well, we're on a clock now. Galvanic Blast. I guess in theory I could just like draw enough burn and actually kill my opponent, but I think I'm pretty dead. I can't actually counter this Evankar's Justice, and I'm kind of just sitting here. But I guess I could see where it goes. I don't really have a reason to scoop. But I've played this matchup a couple of times before, and I haven't beat it. I pretty much just chalked it up to it's just not a very favorable matchup unless I specifically put enough sideboard cards in to win. But I probably should have just put Curse of the Bloody Tome in my sideboard just for this deck. Alright, I think this game's over. I'm just gonna scoop it up. There's... I don't really think there's a point. If that counterspell didn't counter the Evankar's Justice, I think I was just dead there, so there wasn't really a point in trying. So as far as this matchup is concerned, we're definitely bringing in the Pyroblasts, and we're definitely bringing in the Dispels. I think I can bring Gorilla Shamans, too. Just for extra threats and the fact that they destroy Pristine Talisman. I don't think I'm going to need Chainer's Edict, and I don't think I'm going to need Terminate. And I can shave a Firebolt. I think everything else is pretty fine. The fact of the matter is, I don't think that they have too many creatures. I don't think I'm going to have to fight against the Gurmag Angler. And it kind of sucks if I do. That's another problem with teachings, is you never really know like what version you're up against. So I'm kind of under the impression that I just want to do my thing, and then try to fight what my opponent's doing. So that's what we're gonna try. It's not a foolproof plan, and I'm probably not as prepared to beat this matchup as some would think. This hand kind of sucks because we have the Gorilla Shaman, but we don't really want to cast it early. We want to cast it like when we have enough mana to destroy a Pristine Talisman, when we have like 8 mana. And the Pyroblast, it helps, but I mean they can just lay lands for like the first 5 turns. And then I have these 2 cards which don't do anything, and then I can't even cast Thoughtcast, so I'm just going to mulligan this hand. This hand's better. It's got some things going for it. I'm actually just going to put that on the bottom because I don't really need more lands so much as I just need cards that draw cards so I can draw into lands. The Galvanic Blast kind of sucks because 1, I don't have Metalcraft, and 2, it doesn't really do anything. But, maybe hopefully I can get somewhere. Looks like my opponent's got Preordain. Oh, Relic. Relic is a bit of a problem. Not so much because I have Gorilla Shaman in the deck, but yeah. Alright, so it's a good thing we put that land on the bottom because I just drew another land anyway. So that's not really a big deal. It's totally possible that Counterspell's not great in this deck. Or actually, instead of Counterspell, maybe I should have Prohibit. I'm gonna Counterspell that, actually. I don't... my opponent was just gonna take the Counterspell anyway. They don't need to know I have a Dispel. Yeah. Stupid Relic. And an Expedition Map, okay. I wonder why my opponent's playing Expedition Map. I guess it really just has to be because it's a way to get like Bajuka Boggin or Polluted Mire, which is a pretty good idea. I like that idea personally. It's this card that annoys the crap out of me. But that's neither here nor there. My opponent thought twice about laying their land first. They decided to draw a card instead, and then lay a land. Try to make a joke. It's not really working out too well. I think I'll just say go. I kind of my opponent can't get the Muldrifter out of my hand unless they're randomly playing. I think it's called like Ostracize or something from Masters Edition, which I would like to highly doubt that they're doing. Oh crap. Well, there's Pristine Talisman. There's the bane of my existence at the moment. And an Augur of Bolas. Okay. Well, I'm not going to kill that with Galvanic Blast. Well, I guess I could now. Since it just saves me mana in the long run anyway. Opponent whiffed on it, which is good for me. Not even going to remove my Galvanic Blast, huh? Well, that was quite possibly the worst draw in the deck. I think I'm still just going to say go. Another Augur. Alright. Well, opponent's only down to 3 cards in hand if they get something off of the Augur. Looks like they are, since they're taking a bit of time. Looks like they have some choice to make. Not sure exactly what. They got Duress. Well, at least our hand is kind of Duress-ish proof because all they're taking is Dispel. So that's not terrible. They know we have a card we can't cast. They now see that we have Mnemonic Wall, which is kind of meh against Relic of Argentis, but we can just play the first one, then fight through the other one. We'll let Galvanic Blast go away, because getting back Dispel is probably more fruitful. Another Mole Drifter. Alright, well, we have to make our 5th land drop. I can't just sit around here and do nothing. It sucks, but has to be done. We drew Grim Harvest, but unfortunately we did not draw an untapped black source. Getting a bit color screwed, which is, well, somewhat normal for this deck. It's not easy to actually not get mana not get mana or color screwed easily, but yeah. So not sure. Next turn I think I'll probably just tap out for Mole Drifter. I might just play Mnemonic Wall and just either get it countered or make them pop the relic. Looks like they're gonna pop the expedition map and make a land drop. Unless they get Bajuka Bog here, of course. I guess they could just do that. Yep. So now there's no point in me actually playing the Mnemonic Wall and they get to keep the relic, which is pretty annoying, but not much I can really do. Yep. Take one. Pyroblast. Well, that sucks, because that kind of makes me want to now just keep Mole Drifter in my hand, so I think I'll just say go. Really sucks when you're in a control matchup and you have to pass to do nothing. Oh, is this Mystical Teachings? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. And they got straight up counterspell. Oop, no, that's not the right thing. I want to see what the counterspell looks like, dang it. Okay. I don't like that counterspell picture. But I'm not one to judge. I don't like the dazes that I have either, but they were given to me by a friend, so I will not complain. I'm very picky when it comes to my magic art and magic borders. If I can be. You ready? Untap land? Untap land, okay. No black sources yet, and no prophetic prisms, which kind of sucks, but oh well. Go ahead and do this. Oh, they have Essence Scatter? Well, I guess I don't really have a choice but to make them use the counterspell. Well, that was unavoidable. There wasn't really much that I could do about it. Alright, so I top decked a mountain, and my opponent didn't do anything. They're probably just going to flashback Mystical Teachings now to get another Teachings. Yeah, this game is really all but over. But, I don't know, I feel bad if I was to just scoop, like, right now. With 44 cards in my deck and at 18 life. But I am as far behind as I possibly could be. I mean, even if I draw Swamp, the Grim Harvest isn't doing anything. I still can't cast Bleak Home Vampires, and I'm locked out of Mnemonic Wall. And there's Double Relic. Oy vey. Thorn of the Black Rose, can't cast it. Alright. I'm not even going to bore you guys with this. This game's over. Be right back. So I apologize there for what seemed like an early scoop, but I really do feel like I was just dead. I was so far behind, and I could have been attacked for 17 turns straight. I still would have lost. If my opponent had gotten Emenkar's Justice at any point, I would have lost. They were making more land drops and drawing cards at the same time, so I think it was just safe to say that I was dead there. So, against the mono black control deck, you kind of saw that this deck is really powerful against creature type of decks. Against decks like blue-black Teachings, where, you know, they're just like hardcore controller, like, you know, the blue-red puzzle control deck, things like that. Well, you're not really a dog, but you're kind of far behind because they play more counter spells than you. They play just as much removal. And they play better draw spells in the form of like Teachings and whatnot, which you're more of a value deck, and they're more of just a straight control deck. You're also not very favored against Tron, which You could put anti-Tron cards in your sideboard like Earth Rift and Stone Rain and stuff, but the problem with Tron is that you're not going to win the game early, and the number one thing that Tron does best is get Tron. So once you Stone Rain a land, if they make Tron 3 turns later, you're still far behind. So there isn't really much you can do there. I really, really like this deck against aggro decks and against mid-range decks like Koldotha Boros, or I like it against, just, well, really any of the aggro decks. Doesn't really matter which. I guess really, I like it against Mono Black Control, I guess is it. I like it against Angler Delver as well, because they don't have many counterspells to work with, and their removal isn't great. I think that the sideboard needs work. I think this deck still needs work. I think this is not really a refined list. I'm definitely going to visit it in the future. I think I'm probably just going to take the counterspells out. I don't think the counterspells are as good as I thought they would be after testing. And I think that there should be at least 1 or 2 Swirling Sandstorms main deck. The other thing is, like, originally I had Duress instead of Counterspell as well, but Duress just wasn't doing enough. I still wasn't winning against the control decks, and the problem was it didn't do anything against the aggro decks, really. I can tell you that off-camera, Thorn of the Black Rose has been great. So there's that. I think what this deck is missing also is some Curse of the Bloody Tome in the sideboard, I think, that it could use. And I also think that maybe you should try some Signets. Alongside Prophetic Prism, like maybe one Dimir Signet, one Izzet Signet. I think just having both Signets splash for blue is probably good for you. As far as the Grim Harvest is concerned, I'm starting to think that Reaping the Graves is probably just better, just because over time it saves you more mana, and it's a lot harder to get rid of. As far as the burn package, I like that. I definitely like 3 Thoughtcast, and I like everything else that's going on. I like the mana base, even though we kind of got color screwed, but when you're playing a 3-color deck like this, you just kind of accept that sometimes that will happen, so there's no reason to get upset. The sideboard does need work, but, that comes with every deck, so what is my verdict on this deck? Well, here's the problem. I think that if you're taking it into an aggro meta, if you expect a lot of Affinity, a lot of Stompy, even Hexproof, if you expect Elves, things of that nature, even if you expect, like maybe Delver Blue or Delver or Snow Delver, I think you'll do okay. It's going to take a bit of planning, and it's going to take a lot of practice to know how to navigate those matchups correctly, but I think you'll do okay. But the problem is you're very slow, and sometimes you will just have hands that are just flooded with spells that either don't do anything, or you just don't have enough colors, or you don't have enough mana to actually cast everything, and you'll just lose out to the speed that a monocolor deck can be. Your control matchup is something to be desired. I think that you have to construct your deck in quite a way to beat it. And I think even if you're up against a deck like Stompy or a deck like Affinity or whatnot, you still could just be too slow for them to beat you. So there isn't really much you can do about that. Apparently the person outside thought so too. So what is my real verdict on this deck? Well, I think I would stay away from this deck for a while until a good list really comes about. I'm not a perfect deck builder. I'm not an expert. So obviously this list is nowhere near fine-tuned. I'm definitely going to keep working on it because I find this type of archetype to be very fun. Would I say that you should not take it into the leagues? No, I don't say that. I think you can if you want to. I think this deck's a lot of fun. But I wouldn't expect to 5-0 a lot. I surely wouldn't expect to 4-1 a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if your 3-2 was less than 50% with this deck. So that's just my opinion. Again, as I always say, I don't claim to be an expert, and you shouldn't have to take my word for it. If you want to play this deck, go right ahead. I'm not going to tell you not to play a deck. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you guys have enjoyed me watching me play this deck a little bit. I think it's a lot of fun, and if you want to try it, I would say go ahead. Just, your results may vary. Do, as always, check out puremtgo.com. They have tons of great articles from tons of great writers, all better than myself. Do check out a couple of friends of mine. Check out ZMagic94 on Twitch, and also Nega_Shane on Twitch. Also, I believe Alex Ullman has started streaming under Nerd to the Core, so if you want to check him out, you can. Also, Deluxikov does stream, I believe, every Friday under his Pauperganda Twitch. And also, there's tons of great people. Check out Kung Fu Trees, Mikey Ruru on YouTube, Pauper MTG. I think they do a podcast and a YouTube show. I'm not exactly sure, but check out all those guys. There's plenty of other people. You know, there's so much good Pauper content out there. Just go ahead and check it out. Also, I don't plan on making this a career, as I told you guys before. And, you know, I don't really advertise myself too much because I don't want to come off as a needy kind of, I don't know, just a needy person. So I don't really post on Reddit every 5 seconds and whatnot. But I also don't really take much pride in my work. I don't really think I'm very cool. But some of you seem to like me, so I appreciate that. I do. If you guys want to subscribe to me on YouTube so you can see whenever my videos go up before anyone else, you can. I'm not forcing you to, I'm not begging you to, but you can if you want. All I really ask is that you enjoy my content and you have fun with it. That's really it. You know, I don't really have a milestone. I mean, if I could get lucky enough to one day, a year from now, hit 1,000 subscribers and get sponsored by somebody, that'd be really awesome. But until then, I'm just enjoying it, dude. I really am. If you guys have a specific deck that you guys would like to see that you've seen I haven't looked on recently or I haven't revisited, let me know, and I'll try to, you know, do a little bit of a cover on it. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you again.